In this video, I'm going to show you how I built this herb planter. Outside of finish, it only takes a few hours, so if it's on your to-do list, then let's jump into the steps. To build one planter, you will need 7 1x6s. For material choice, I am going with Western Red Cedar, and I'll leave you a link in the description to locate a dealer near you. Cedar boards typically come with one side smooth and the other side rough. To save a ton of time later on, I start off by running my full-length boards through my thickness planer to smooth out that rough side. I know, I need to clean my shop. But hey, this is why I put my planer on wheels. Let's just move this guy to this clear space over here. If you don't have a planer, a belt sander is a great alternative. No matter what you choose, knocking down the rough side will save time. Alright, now let's start laying out the pieces. By the way, I have templates for this build available over my website if you want them. I first place it on the end of a board, and don't worry, it's common to have some size variances in 1x. So if the template overhangs, just place the extra at the bottom instead of the top. Once I trace the first side, I measure over to the distance that board needs to be, flip the template, and make another trace. By the way, the template comes with a set of plans that gives the dimensions I used. I repeated this process for every tier needed to make up the entire planter. And one of the great things about this design is that you can go bigger or smaller with it depending on your space. Okay, after making all of the traces for my parts, I moved the boards over to the miter saw, flipped out the wings, and then started cutting things to length. I angled my saw, then cut each one along my pencil line. For the notches themselves, you can use a bandsaw, or if you don't have one, a jigsaw. A tip for using either one of these saws for making these notches is to use them for making the straight outside lines. But then after removing the majority of the center, move the part left and right across the blade to make a flat back cut. The bearing on the bandsaw is a little bit in the way, but you can see that it does work. Oh, and I would also recommend keeping a piece around to test fit each slot. You want everything to fit easily. Alright, to start assembling, these two parts will actually be attached like this to the bottom. However, to do that, I move the bottom slats aside and turn these first two sides upside down. A tip, use a clamp to create a larger footprint so that the part will stand up on its own. Now I can grab the first slat that will make up the bottom and attach it by pre-drilling and then driving in a screw. Oh, and be sure to use exterior rated screws so that they don't rust out from the water. These boards will shrink some as they dry fully, so I went ahead and butted mine up to one another. When they shrink, they're going to create a small gap, and that will allow excess water to drain out. You can use a speed square to make sure the boards are going on square. I recommend skipping any wood glue on these parts. This will make it easier to replace them in the future should you need to. Let's flip it over and take a look. Nice and simple. Okay, now I believe I should be able to just start stacking my parts with notches. Starting with the longer ones, then tearing up to the shorter. On these parts, there is no hardware. They simply set into the notches, then I eye the position from left to right. Ugh, of course, the very last one is too tight. But no problem. Making it just slightly wider at the bandsaw was quick and easy. Okay, let's see if that did it. Yes! Okay. Yeah, check it out, guys. So all in all, I only have about an hour and a half in this project so far. So very quick and easy. Okay, since I now know everything would work, I went ahead and disassembled it. Flipped it over and put on some casters. Honestly, I'm not really sure if this feature will be useful or not, but I figured I would give it a try. The idea of being able to move it around a patio when it's full of dirt sounds useful. Then, while everything was taken apart, I went ahead and gave everything a good sanding. Trane has just come out with a new palm sander, so I put a 120 pad on it, then gave every board a good glance over so that I could get it ready for a coat of finish. After getting things nice and spiffy and reassembled, I looked inside of it and thought there sure is a lot of wasted space because herbs don't need a lot of rooms for their roots. Yes, I can just fill it up with dirt, but that's a lot of extra weight and expense that's not needed. So instead, I first bought some pool noodles, chopped it up over at the bandsaw, and then started gluing it together like a little pool noodle conglomerate. For this I was using the spray contact cement made by DAP. It's a very fast-acting adhesive that worked great on these pool noodles. Once I placed it inside though, I would need a few more noodles to take up the entire space though. So I looked around my shop and found an empty bucket instead. I tried it out and sure enough, it fits perfectly. I would love to take credit for that, but it was really coincidence. And then around the bucket, I went ahead and put in the pool noodles to take up even more room. Now I'm not worried about this breaking down and poisoning the dirt because none of this is going to be exposed to UV since it's going to be covered up with the soil. However, if you didn't want to use plastic, you could build yourself a wooden box to serve the same purpose. Okay, now let's move on to a finish. The great thing about cedar is that it's naturally rot resistant. It not only holds up better than other woods when exposed to the sun, but also moisture. If you leave cedar raw, it's gonna patina to a pretty gray finish naturally. However, I love the color of Western red cedar and wanna keep it, so I put on a coat of finish to protect it. I'm going with a varnish wood sealer by Total Boat to first seal the wood. Then after 2 coats of that dried, I applied a top coat of Gleam, which is a spar varnish that provides maximum protection against UV and water. So it's perfect for this type of project. However, if you wanted even more protection, you could also line the inside of the planter with plastic before dumping in the dirt. But that is the next step, to put in dirt. Yes, you can buy dirt, but I'm gonna be using dirt I made myself. Guys, I am so in love with this new product I found that turns your food waste into dirt in just a few hours. This is called Loamy. In my opinion, every kitchen needs one of these. It should be as standard as a dishwasher. Whenever I am cooking, all of the cutoff and waste goes into Loamy instead of the trash. Once I fill up the container, which is a heavy duty bin, I put on the lid, plug it in, and hit start. The quickest setting will turn it into dirt in just 4 to 5 hours. But if you want nutrient-rich dirt, which I do for my herb planter, then I use the grow mode setting, which runs 16 to 20 hours, which is still way quicker than a traditional composting bin. In the Loamy, I throw in my coffee filters, my tea bags, eggshells, flower stems, and any food that goes bad in the fridge. I have been using my Loamy for months now and use it at least 3 days a week to make dirt. The Loamy Express cycle uses about half the energy that an average dishwasher does, so it's energy efficient. And there are 2 filters on Loamy to prevent any odor. There is this really rewarding feeling of taking something that would normally end up in the landfill and instead finding a use for it. I mean, it's just like recycling, but instead of giving it to somebody else to break down, you're doing it yourself in your kitchen. Alrighty, now I have plenty of room to house all of my herbs in one pretty condensed footprint. Also, I changed my mind. I definitely love the casters. I can wheel it out of the way from the railing when I want to work on something, but then push it back whenever I'm done. As you saw, this is a really simple project to knock out. So if you're looking for a planter for your herbs, then check out my website for a set of plans and templates for this one. I also have a ton of other great summertime projects with plans if you're looking for something else this season. Big thank you to Triton for always being a supporter of my channel. They're coming out with a lot of exciting new tools, such as a palm router and extending their sander line. Be sure to check out the link in the description to see their full tool lineup. That is it for this one. I will see you on my next project, guys.